Here. Thank you all for coming and giving up your Friday evening for us. Hopefully you pull something away from this that's valuable. So what we're going to talk to you today about is a program that we developed with Ideal Toronto. We're calling it the Smart Investor Program. And our goal today is to give you the information to make you realize that property management is a very important aspect in your property investment. And we're going to talk about services and different tools and tactics we use to make your investment worthwhile and to improve your investment. So a little bit about us. I'm Luke. I come from an engineering background. I worked in the automotive sector. I have a degree in engineering. I have a certificate in business management from Mohawk College, as well as a CAPM, which is a Certified Associate Project Manager. I've also worked in the renovations business. That's the family business of mine. My father owns a renovations company, so I have experience dealing with renovations projects and managing home flips and reinvesting into existing property to improve it.
My name is Pasquale Candia. I went to school in Ottawa, Carleton University, for a Bachelor of Arts in Geography. And then I went to George Brown College, which is just a few blocks from here. And then I did a Bachelor of Applied Business in Accounting. I have an accounting background. I've worked in the private sector for a big operator of medical office buildings. So what we do is we buy office buildings and convert them into medical office buildings. And I have experience in cost accounting, risk management, purchase and sales, and just ongoing operations.
So a little bit about us. I touched on it before. We're property managers. Our goal is not only to manage your property in the physical aspects of it, but as well the financial aspects. What we try and do, we're not realtors, so the reason that we focus on that and state that we're not realtors is that, especially with this program where we team up with Ideal Toronto, where we're developing this, we give another aspect, another point of view that we can view a property from. So we have a different interest than a realtor has, and then they also a different interest than Nick here, our mortgage specialist. So we can attack it from every angle and understand exactly what's going on. So combined with our full service property management, we also do our best to optimize the property investment. Our mission, again, focusing on the investment, maintaining your asset and improving it and making sure that you have the best performance out of that asset. A lot of people, when you invest in a property, it's very difficult to be that active manager of your property and that active participant in the investment. You like to buy it and then you only deal with it when you need to. But where we come in is we focus on everything that we can do to improve that investment on a regular basis. So that includes reinvesting, so renovations to existing projects and improving them to get you higher rents, lower vacancies, as well as actively managing the financial aspects. So we do tax services and things like that, which we'll go into more in the presentation. So that all encompasses is our slogan of actively managing an investment for a passive investor. So now Pasquale's going to get started on the services that we provide. Oh, sorry, that's me. So finding qualified tenants. This is one of the most important parts of managing your property, reducing vacancies, because vacancies cost money. So teamed up with our partners in realty, we do a very good process of high profile marketing. So that's every aspect of marketing on different sources over the online, as well as we show properties, and we also have a very comprehensive tenant screening process. So we do a very good job teamed up with our realtors to be able to reduce vacancies. That's the main focus, first priority.
So I'm going to talk to you about some of the ongoing support that we can provide on an ongoing basis. So we can take care of all the collection and disbursements of the property. So we have a centralized collection system that allows us to be very efficient in the collection process. And once we collect the monies, then we can very efficiently take care of all disbursements and have the rest of the balance in your account very quickly. our system allows us to track money very efficiently, so we're always, at any given time, you can ask us about your particular account. We can pull it up in a second. Administrative support for rental income. We provide rent receipts for our tenants. We provide balance accounts for our owners, like I mentioned. Complete financial statements. So once a year, at the end of the fiscal year of the property, we try to, not every fiscal year end is December, but after the first year, we try to make it December just for tax purposes. At the end of every year, we provide our owners with a full report, full performance report on the property. So what that includes is management discussion analysis, where we state the objectives for the following year, business strategy based on what happened this year, and key performance indicators that we should be focusing on an ongoing basis. It includes a cash basis income statement, a statement of operations, a financial analysis, a market comparison of your property, and as well as a statement of repairs and maintenance. This is a key part of it. So you can see what we can pass this around later, so you can see what our statements look like. And then at the end of the year, like I mentioned, the maintenance report is a key part of it. So I'll read an example on this particular property. It says, no, wrong page. On this particular property, it says, on November 14, tenants reported a leak in the kitchen sink. Upon inspection, it was determined that the problem was caused by a worn kitchen faucet. A new kitchen faucet was purchased and installed on November 16, 2014. So you can see the dates when it was fixed, who fixed it, which company was hired, how many quotes we got for it, and pictures of the process. So we'll replace it with the exact existing piece or a very similar match. Like we'll never replace, $4,000 fridge with a $200 used fridge from Kijiji or anything like that.
And we're willing to negotiate putting comics in the back too.
So this is a very important piece that we'll pass around so that everyone can take a look at it. It's a very valuable item because it enhances comparability, so you can see where you're improving from year to year. We have a 24/7 emergency line contact for tenants. So a key part, like Luke mentioned, is reducing not only vacancies but turnovers. So we want to be able to keep tenants happy, and the way we keep tenants happy is we take care of their needs immediately. So it'll never, as soon as we get a maintenance request, we have an online telephone maintenance request system. What that does is it allows for it to be documented, like we showed in the report. It shows the dates and it was reported the day and when it was fixed. It allows us to take care of it very quickly and keep the tenants happy. If we keep tenants happy, we reduce the chances of damage to the property, because if you don't take care of a problem right away, the tenant might not even report a problem next time. So problems start piling up. At the end of the year, tenant moves out, you have a huge surprise. So we want to avoid that by keeping tenants happy, dealing with problems immediately. Timely handle of all maintenance requests. Like I said, we want to handle it as soon as we hear about it. We have a system where we rank problems and we can delegate our staff to go to the property based on where it needs the biggest attention. Like some properties you might not have to go there at 3 in the morning. It could wait till 9 in the morning the next day. So we have a very good system that allows us to rank there and distribute our staff that way. Tenants check-in, check-outs. When tenants move in and out, we have a documented unit inspection where we go through the unit line by line, item by item of the property. So the kitchen, the bedrooms, the bathrooms. We can detail the conditions when they moved in every 6 months and when they move out. And then we make tenants sign it when this happens, so it's documented. There's no excuses. So this is the state of the property. When you received it, you sign at the bottom, and then when you move out, there's no excuses. It's signed by the tenant. Evictions. The goal with evictions, take care of them as quickly as possible. Evictions in Ontario are tricky, and sometimes they can drag for months at a time. This is very costly because by the time you have to deal with an eviction, he probably hasn't paid rent for a couple months. You're going to spend a lot of time in court, hearings, all that kind of stuff. You're not collecting rent, and then you have to start the process all over again. You might have to fix the property, you have to market it again, you have to get it ready for rent again, and that costs money. So the goal with evictions is take care of them as quickly as possible. Of course, in an ideal world, you'll never have to get there, and it goes back to what Luke talked about, tenant screening. If you do a great tenant screening process from the beginning, you can avoid those bad tenants. Of course, it can never be 100% avoided. Every once in a while, you will get a bad apple. And the goal is to take care of it as quickly as possible.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to add to what Pasquale was saying is a big part is making sure you serve your notices and you're applying to the board for evictions, and you make sure you happen right away. And that's where we come in, is that we have the luxury of this being our job, so we can do that right away and make sure that they're handled in a timely manner, and so you can get that tenant out as fast as possible.
Tax services. So we can also provide tax services for, different purposes. Like we do HST rebates. I don't know if everyone is aware. When you purchase new property from a builder, you're entitled to an HST rebate. There's different factors to go into, like the purchase price, the time of the purchase. But you have up to 2 years to claim this tax rebate. It could be up to $30,000. So it's a significant portion of money. Not everyone's aware of it. It's it's very nice when you hear you can get $30,000 back from Canada. Non-resident tax withholding. So this is what the forms look like for the people who haven't seen it. So I'll talk a little bit about the process. It is a lengthy process. There's a lot of paperwork involved. So this would be the amount of paperwork involved for one property every year. So the way it works is if you're a non-resident of Canada, you're subject to what it's called Part 13 tax. Part 13 tax dictates that income must be withheld from the source. So for non-residents, we have to, tenants are supposed to withhold tax, but so that tenants don't have to, you can have an agent, in this case would be us, the property management company, withholding tax from you and remitting to CRA on a monthly basis. At the end of the year, we fill out a form, which is called the NR4. The NR4 is equivalent to the T4 that most Canadians receive. And that shows the amount of deductions you had throughout the year and what your net income was throughout the year, so that you can then decide if you want to make a return or not. If you choose to make a return, then we also file a return for you, and we can file an NR6 form. What that does is it allows us to claim the net income as opposed to the gross amount, so we can withhold the tax on the net amount as opposed to the gross amount, which improves cash flow of their investment. So instead of, if you have a property that rents for $2,000, instead of withholding 25% of $2,000, you can withhold 25% of your net income, which would be after taking away all the expenses, which, again, it improves cash flow, improves the performance of the property. So yeah, we can definitely arrange to take care of all your tax needs. I have an accounting background, so I'm pretty familiar with the CRA language.
So this is another service that is kind of unique to us. We have fun doing this. This is the investment analysis of property. So this is kind of what got us into this whole business, was the appeal of looking at the potential in properties. And so what we do is we take the purchase price of a property, potential rent ability, and we do pretty in-depth financial analysis with projections of whatever year period that you'd like. So we can do up to 5, 10, 20 years. And I'll pass this around. So what this is it just gives you like a net return, what your expected cash flow is, and we can do that for any property. So if you're looking to buy a property and you want to see what the potential is, what you can expect to get as a net return, or if you're looking at selling your existing property and you're wondering what the value of it is and what the investment value is, that's something that you can use for that.
Something to add to that too is we're able to get very consistent data, very trustworthy data with our partnership through Ideal Toronto, because Rod and Joyce provide us with the most up-to-date data from their database of REMAX, which is very, we're not just pulling out numbers from the internet. We're using the data that all professionals use. It also enhances comparability, so you can compare between many different investment options to see what your potential is, and then you can draw that out to any number of years, so you can see what it would look like in year 4, year 5, year 6.
So some of the other services we provide, a lot of these apply to homes, not so much the condo market, but it just gives you an idea of the flexibility of other services that we can provide. We're very adaptable to different things that are needed. We realize that every property is different. So things like cleaning, snow removal, renovations. We have a network of property renovators and contractors, and we have a pretty good network to do that. And so basically what I'm trying to get at is that our services aren't just included in what we listed before, is that we can adapt to whatever your property needs, and we can arrange for you to have an investment that you don't have to touch. That's the end goal, is that we're here to deal with everything, and we just send you the money at the end of the day.
So how does property management help you as an investor? Why is it a good idea to have a property manager? Well, property management can save you time and money, which is almost the same because these days time is money. How can we save you time and money? Well, how does McDonald's, this is an analogy I always use, how does McDonald's sell a burger with 5 toppings for $1.39? And a lot of it is purchase power. They're buying thousands of burgers a day. And we can do the same thing. It's economies of scale. So if we're managing several properties, we keep our vendors pretty busy. We get the best prices. So when it's time to do capital improvements on the property, we can call every property that we think it should be a good idea to do some improvements on, and say we can get this price for flooring this year because we're doing 17 units for flooring. The same thing applies to everything. Time. We can take care of a lot of problems very quickly because, again, we provide a lot of volume to our vendors. So a lot of people, a lot of owners, they can call a plumber and they say, we have a problem. If you say it's an emergency, it's going to charge you a couple $100s just to come in the same day. If not, he says, I have time next week or the week after. Because we provide a lot of volume, they prioritize us. So they can come in the very same day. I can get electricians, plumbers, the whole tradesmen. We reduce risk. How do we reduce risk? Well, if we maintain the property on a day-to-day basis, you avoid problems dragging for longer. So, problems that might be otherwise undetected or less for another day, we can take care of it on the same day, and it avoids larger problems. So if you have a leaky faucet, if you take care of it the same day, then you avoid, damaging the kitchen counters and damaging other parts of the apartment. A lot of what we do too is preventive maintenance. So we emphasize preventive maintenance, changing air filters to avoid damage to furnaces, all that kind of stuff is, at the end of the day, it's all to reduce risks. Maintain and increase property value. Luke talked a little bit about the investment analysis. So what we can do is we can show you what the return on investment would be on certain capital improvements on the property. So it's, we can show you the data of what the difference in income would be if you changed hardwood floors, if you change kitchen counters, if you do certain improvements to the property. It's easier to rationalize them if you can see what the return would be. And it doesn't necessarily equate to higher rents. A lot of times it'd be to lower vacancy periods. If your property shows nicer than the rest, you're going to have it rented quicker. And vacancies cost a lot of money. Vacancies are the #1 killer of net income. Our services are tax deductible, which is a nice feature. So, we'll get into pricing on an individual basis. We can't, generalize in pricing because every property has different needs. Some people might not need our tax services, some people might need other services. So we're not going to get into detail, but I can go through it and show you what our services really cost after you take them away from your taxes, so you reduce your net income, which is a nice feature.
Okay, so now Nick has got a couple points that he wants to talk about.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. That was great. So there's just a couple of things I want to go over to add on what Luke and Pascal said. I personally had an investment property, and I had a lot of clients having investment property. There was a lot of, for example, I had a client had a property where they were renting out to a couple. So those couple, they had a fight, and the wife started pouring gas on the carpet. Then.
Nice.
Yeah, so they actually lighted up. Then the firefighter came. It was horrific. So little do they know, they didn't do any screening. So because they were such an urgent to rent the property out, so they didn't do much screening for the customer, for the tenant. So which could be 100% prevented. And a lot of story like that, it just make you cringe. Something like this they're doing to provide a service that can save you thousands of dollars, and as well as give all that benefit. I think it's great. And I personally, I don't know a lot of management property service like what they're offering right now, so it's actually really, really good. So anyways, got back to my topic. To buying, whether it's a first-time home buyer or investment property, it's always good to have a pre-approval. So shop with confidence. What does shop with confidence to you mean? So for me, shop with confidence, knowing how much I can pre-approve for, how much I can qualify for, and I can go out there and shop with that limit. And sometimes I know in the Toronto market, a lot of times when there's competitive offer, you don't want to put a condition day on it, right? So a lot of times you know, you don't want to save that stress where you may lose your deposit and things like that. But with that pre-approval, there we could save you a lot.